So Regenda housing, right, this is to you. This is why two men should not be left alone in a house where there are communal areas. Right? This is why, right? I am now finding myself halfway, at the halfway point between Wallasey and Birkenhead, toward Birkenhead. See on the docks here. When I don't want to be. Right? Just turned off my cooker in the middle of making up a curry with the turkey leftovers from Christmas, right? In the middle of doing that, I turned that off at an abode where I pay my bills to be at, to live at, right? And I'm now finding myself halfway between New Brighton and Birkenhead without wanting to be, right? And I'll probably end up just stood here now, walking at a snail's pace, on the docks, halfway through cooking the hot pot curry, which I want to finish off cooking, and I'm not doing so. Instead, I'm stood here at the docks, in between Wallasey and Birkenhead, when I don't want to be. Not at my free will. I don't know how else to word it, but Regenda housing, this is why you shouldn't have two men left alone living in a house where there is communal areas. This is why, right? This is why, right? Because I'm not where I want to be, where I have the right to be. Finding myself at a place where I don't want to be. And shouldn't have to be, and don't have the will to be, because I'd sooner be where I was, continuing my meal, preparation of a meal, instead of being here. That's where I would want to be. I am not alone in saying that. We all know what a relationship is like with two people when it breaks down. I'm talking about an intimate relationship between two people. We all know, right? Everyone on this planet knows what that is like when it breaks down, and you're having to dodge each other when you're living together because you can't stand the other person being in the same room as the other person. And when you finally get to that other room in the house or wherever you're living with that other person, even when you're in that separated room, it's the worst experience on this earth. You're just wishing that you'd sooner be dead, right? When you're with that in that intimate relationship which is breaking down. Well, that's what it's like, right, Regenda? When you leave two people living in a house where there's a communal area, that's what it's like. This is what it's like, right? It is the same exact feeling, the same emotions are experienced between those two people when they're living in a house. Even when they're just two people who aren't attached through any level of intimacy, right? It's the same kind of emotional bond. Exactly the same. It's just that it's sexless, that's all. It's the same kind of emotional bond, right? And one of the two has to, when it becomes unbearable, akin to that intimate relationship experience, has to depart, has to go, has to escape that said environment, which is now where I'm finding myself here. Otherwise, criminal activities occur, things get out of hand, violence occurs, things like drug taking occurs to help numb the pain. People start drinking at 8 a.m, things like that. So Regenda, this is horse's mouth to you, right? It is the same experience When two people live in a house, as it is, it's exactly the same emotional experience between two people who are living in a house where there's a communal area as it is between two people who are intimately linked in a relationship when they are actually sharing the same resonance. It's just that it's sexless, that's all. Okay? Just that it's sexless, that's all. It's the same linkage, it's the same mental, it's not deliberate linkage, but it's the same kind of bonding, it's the same kind of presence of energy between the two people, the shared energy between two people. It's exactly the same as when two people are intimately linked when they are living together. It's exactly the same, there's just no sex at all. Which is why when I say to you, Regina Housing, that the guy who lives in the middle, how I despise that happening. This is why. This is why. I'm sure the bloke who's at the top, alright, top of the house, I'm sure he hates just as much having to share with me as well. I'm sure he finds himself just riding his bike somewhere where he doesn't want to be at a particular time. I'm just stood here at the Docklands now, thinking, fuck. You know what I mean? Fuck. This is just shit. Shit. Right? It's shit. Right? This is just unbearable. What do you suggest? Do you suggest I start taking drugs to help numb the pain? Do you suggest I start drinking alcohol in the morning to help numb the pain? What do you suggest? If this isn't out freely walking, enjoying the fresh air, then you tell me. You tell me. If this isn't a pleasurable walk, getting out in the fresh air, you tell me. Why do you think they're having to build and keep building new prisons? Because people are on that fine line all the time, a breaking point. Do they or don't they actually commit that crime? Say, does one of us in this house where there's a shared communal area step out into the hall and kill the other when the urge takes us, when the mood takes us, because the living experience, that shared experience in the house gets too much? Or do we find ourselves just stood somewhere where they don't want to be, having to completely stop their life, a la turning off my meal I was preparing? You tell me, Regina Housing, I've completely laid my cards out here. I don't know how else I can word it, explain to you why two men should not be in a house, living in a house share where there's communal area.